right, so our final segment in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. Obviously, you got the AFC champions Kansas City Chiefs against the NFC champions San Francisco 49ers. So let's go ahead. Let's start with some MVP picks, some possible options. Casey, who do you like?
I've got kind of an outside look at the MVP this year. I'm not really thinking Pat Mahomes is the MVP just because I think the Niners are going to win somehow because last 7 out of 10 Super Bowls, the team with the better defense won the Super Bowl. And I really think that Jimmy G is going to have a game. I mean, a lot of people ripped on him last week for only throwing for 77 yards against Green Bay. I could see him really taking over this game and having a really good game because obviously Raheem Mostert's probably going to be keyed on by the Kansas City Chiefs defense. So I could see Jimmy G having a good game. What about you, Robbie?
I think if the Chiefs win, Pat Mahomes is going to be the MVP. I think Travis Kelce as another possible outlook. I'm interested to see, obviously, how the 49ers kind of match up with him. And then for the 49ers if they win, I wouldn't be surprised to see a defensive MVP. A guy like Nick Bosa, if he can get to Pat Mahomes a couple times, maybe Richard Sherman, maybe Quan Alexander. If one of those guys can make a big play in a key game, in a close game, I definitely could see a defensive MVP this year because, I agree that Jimmy Garoppolo might have a better game, but I don't get the people ripping on him last week. Like, who cares? You're going to the Super Bowl. Who cares if you throw 70 yards, 80 yards? Ryan Tannehill did it the first 2 rounds, and they beat the Patriots and the Ravens. The Patriots, who have been the best team in the AFC for years, and the Ravens, who are the best team in the AFC by far in the regular season. I mean, stick to what you know and stick to what works. Kyle Shanahan's a running back guru. I don't understand all that hate on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Why would you keep throwing the ball when you're already up 4 touchdowns with Raheem Mostert absolutely killing the other defense? Why try to get fancy with it? Just keep handing it off to the guy, and that's what they did.
Yeah, stick to what's working. The Packers weren't stopping them. All right, Casey, give me some of your bold predictions for this Super Bowl.
I could kind of see it going one of 2 ways. Like we talked about a couple times, I see the game either being a really, really high-scoring game or a game that nobody scores.
Like that Patriots 13-3 Super Bowl.
Yeah, my prediction is if it isn't above 800 yards of team offense, it's going to be below 500 yards combined.
Wow. Nothing in between 500 or 800, eh?
No, we're not having an average football game. We're going to have either a barn burner or the most boring football game I've ever watched.
It can't be boring with Pat Mahomes in it.
That's true.
All right, well, for my first bold prediction, I went that the 49ers are going to have 1 or 0 sacks. So 1 or fewer, I suppose. Because I think that Chiefs' offensive line is amazing. Mitchell Schwartz is a great tackle. Pat Mahomes gets the ball out so fast. He has so many playmakers that are constantly going to be open. And obviously Andy Reid designs a great offense. So that's my personal prediction. But on the other side of the spectrum, I also have a prediction where the 49ers end up being able to win this game. I went with Jimmy Garoppolo, shows people he can pass. And I think I could easily see him, again, if they key in on Raheem Mostert, I'd easily see him throwing for over 250 yards, 300 yards, couple of scores. And I think, I'm assuming Jimmy Garoppolo wants to, considering he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks, but obviously he won a Super Bowl over that, so he's probably going to continue handing it off as long as it works. But if that gets shut down, Chris Jones returns healthier than he was in AFC Championship, and he's one of the best run stoppers in the NFL. I could easily see Jimmy Garoppolo making a ton of big plays with his arm.
And he's shown he's had the talent. I mean, it's not like he hasn't. So he was my pick for MVP, so if the 49ers win, I think it's Jimmy G's game.
And all Jimmy Garoppolo does is win. I mean, the numbers are just staggering with their wins with him and versus without him. All right, finally, we're going to go into our game score predictions. Right now, I'm going to say 31-25 Chiefs, and I'll explain here in a minute once Casey gives his score.
My final prediction is 18 to... No, I can't do that. 21-17 Chiefs. I think the offense gets it done, but I just don't see them being able to put up more than 21 points against that San Fran D.
Man, the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes is just unbelievable. Some of the plays he makes still. Like when they were getting blown out 24-0 to the Texans, some of the stuff he did, the way when their offense clicks, I don't care how good your defense is, you're not stopping them. And I'm a little curious to see kind of what game plan Andy Reid's going to go with, how he's going to script it. Because obviously Andy Reid has had some struggles in the postseasons, no doubt about it, whether it's just losing, blowing leads, clock management. But kind of my pick came down to, I think you're always going to kind of take the team, or at least I am by default, with the better coach, better quarterback. And I think, obviously, Kyle Shanahan is a great mind, great football mind, one of the best young coaches in the league. But I do think Andy Reid's experience will help him a bit, even if he's had some troubles in the past. And so I just think the combination of him and Pat Mahomes is a lot tastier than the combination of Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo, because yes, Jimmy Garoppolo is a great quarterback and could do a lot of stuff, but Pat Mahomes is a once-in-a-generational talent of a playmaker. So I think the Chiefs are going to put up some points. I wouldn't doubt the 49ers putting up some points too, just because the Chiefs are a little weaker on the defensive side of the ball. They've collected themselves for the playoffs and in that comeback, but that's why I'm electing 31-25 Chiefs.
I can see that too. I don't know. It's just the Chiefs have struggled at points this season too. But obviously they're getting hot at the right time, but they didn't really play the cream of the crop in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see. This is their first test against like what was labeled as a championship contender since before the playoffs started. It'll be interesting to see what they do. And that's why I'm kind of apprehensive of going with the over in this.
Yeah, they went from possibly playing the Patriots and the Ravens to the Texans and the Titans. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to a good game. I think this is one of the best matchups we've had in recent Super Bowl memories. I'm so excited to see what Pat Mahomes can do. I'm so excited to see if that 49ers defense can hold up because, obviously they, outside of the second half against the Packers, they pretty much embarrassed Aaron Rodgers all in both games this year, demolishing him the first game, demolishing him in the first half of that second game, and then they kind of went into a soft zone, kind of just were playing the clock game, letting Raheem go off, run the ball. But I think we are in for a great Super Bowl. And I sure hope we are, otherwise my Super Bowl party's going to be boring.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is probably one of the best matchups we could have got. I was hoping, just as a fan of Drew Brees, I was hoping for a Chiefs-Saints matchup, just because obviously with their postseason struggles, they couldn't get it done. But I think we got a great matchup this weekend. Two teams we haven't seen in a while, obviously since the Kaepernick-led 49ers, and Chiefs since the first or second Super Bowl ever. So it'll be interesting to see.